We are about halfway through the NFL season, and I think it's time we do some power rankings. So we've got this tier list on the left side. It has different tiers from 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, 21 to 25, and 26 to 32. We're going to be starting at the bottom tier. We have already sectioned off the teams into the bottom 8 teams, the top 8 teams, and the mid 16. So we already have our little sections for those, but you will not know what those look like until we put them on the sheet. And we are just going to discuss and get through who we think the worst and the best teams are, all the way ranked from 20 or from 32 to number 1. And do you have anybody in mind for the worst team in the league? Because I sure do.
I definitely do because I think, starting first and foremost, if you have an interim head coach halfway through the year, you are the worst team in the league because you're the first one to nick something in the bud. Obviously, they had the first overall pick last year, and they have it once again. That is the Tennessee Titans.
Yes, it is. And so I'm going to be adding them to this bottom tier. After I add more teams, the Titans will be over on the very bottom far right.
Mm-hmm.
So they will be in last position at 32, but right now they're the only team on that tier. So moving up, I think the next worst team to me is going to be the Saints. I don't know if you've got another team in mind that you think is worse, but I think the Saints are probably the second worst, at
Yeah,
least now.
especially, I've got that little bit of a Aaron Glenn bias on my heart and my mind. I can definitely agree to the Saints there. They
Yeah.
they have no rhythm. They have no identity. They're just a rough kind of roster where they're aging up too fast to be competitive with, and we've mentioned their cap issues and why that means that they can't bring in new young talent outside of the draft, and their draft history is muddied. So
Yeah.
definitely the Saints as the second worst. And now I think this is when things actually start opening up to being
Uh,
a question.
I think we got one more gimme, and I think that's the Jets. I do think the Jets are the third worst team in the league. They did just win, so I think they do deserve props for that. But it was against the Bengals defense, and any team can look good against the Bengals defense. So I think that is the next worst. I could see the Browns, but I do think the Jets are a little bit worse.
Yeah, I especially with, I will say the fact that they benched Justin Fields for any reason and then they've gone back to him, and of course, that went as it did. But those like quarterback questions, as soon as they start looming, they are an issue to be there. Um, so yeah, despite being competitive in a good few games, just the fact that there's so much noise around it definitely would lean to being like, okay, this is one of the worst teams, and they've had some injuries, and they're not looking good even when they're not fully healthy. So I can agree to the Jets there.
All right. Next up, now we're between, I think, probably Browns and Dolphins is who I'm between for these next
I
two. And the Dolphins did just win. The Browns did just lose.
The
So,
Raiders I want to throw into the mix to also be here.
okay.
Um,
That's fair. That's fair.
just
The
not
Raiders are so
not
the
optimizing what
Raiders
they
are so
have.
weird. Exactly, cuz they went all in on this year it feels like, or on like the next 2 or 3 years, and
Hmm.
it just didn't
Yeah.
work. Like they got Geno, who's not an old quarterback by any means, but he's definitely not young.
Hmm.
They got Pete Carroll, who's an old head coach, and it feels like their window, they set themselves up for a window of 2 years, and they're not good
No.
right now. So it does feel like it's like I don't think they're worse than the Dolphins. I will say I don't think that they are a worse team than the Miami Dolphins, but they're probably set up a little worse just because of how much they're bought into the right now. Um,
Yeah.
and
That
while I don't think they're a worse team than the Dolphins, I don't think they're much better. So if you wanna throw them here
I'll do
at
one. Yeah, I think I lean in favor of the Dolphins. Um, be like they've played pretty similar matchups. But the Dolphins are in a much tougher division. With Bills and the Patriots in there. So they
I mean shit, the Raiders aren't in an easy division either. That's a
yes,
rough spot too.
yes, but they've yet to play Denver at all. So they've played KC and they just got absolutely slapped across left, right, center, backhanded, every which way they could. Um, and yeah, the Raiders' two wins are against Tennessee, who's below them on this list already, and week
And New
one, New
England.
England. So
Week 1 New England specifically.
Yes.
So we
I
we ignore that game,
I
right?
suppose off of however high we're gonna put the Patriots, we kind of have to put the the team that beat them a little, give them that little nudge. So I'll lean with the Dolphins being worse than them. Um,
Okay,
and then do we want to
that's
go
fair.
Raiders or Browns? Is the question.
Um, I think the Browns are like I think they're doomed. I honestly think they're doomed. The Raiders, they could figure some
Well,
stuff
so
out,
here's the
but
thing though: is
they're
the
both kind
Browns
of
have
doomed.
like these young players, these running backs, and the middle linebacker. They're performing well,
That's
but it just
true.
doesn't matter because the rest of the team is the rest of the team. Now the
Yeah.
Raiders, they have Ashton Genty, a highly sought after quarterback running back from this past draft, and no O line to help him, and no O line to help Gino, and a bigger issue than I think the Browns have. Like through the rest of the season, do you have the Raiders picking up more wins than the Browns? And I think that answers the question for who you think would be in a worse spot here.
Okay, we'll go Raiders then Browns
Yeah.
then. So from start to finish right now, we have the worst team number 32 Titans, 31 Saints, 30 Jets, 29 Dolphins, 28 Raiders, 27 Browns,
And who's the
and
last peg to fall into this category?
well, the Cardinals
Yes.
and Giants. Those are
Those
the
are our
those are the
options
last two
here.
we've got here.
The Giants had flashes, and again with the I guess benefit of the doubt I gave to the Browns for having good rookie performances. The Giants have leaned on those good rookie performances. However, they had the is it just confirmed a dislocation for Scotabo?
Yes, but I believe out for the year anyways.
Yeesh. Damn. Yeah, so you lose one of your, you know, the things you were looking forward to seeing there. I can definitely go with Cardinals under them. It feels like, as I mentioned with the coach firing stuff going on, these are two teams very similar in that regard. I feel like Dable has just a slightly longer leash for who knows why, but I'll leave this in your hands because honestly, I could go either way.
Um,
I agree with it either way.
I think the Cardinals are in a worse position, but I think they're the better team. Actually, I don't even think they're in a worse position. They've got Marv, who's been, you know, less than great this year, but he's, maybe turning it around, and Trey McBride's there, and Kyler. I think, as much as it pains me to say, I think Kyler might be part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think rest of season I would take the Cardinals over the Giants if they went head to head. I think the Cardinals would win that game.
Yeah,
So,
rest of the season when Malik is out and Scadabo's out. Yeah, I
which is what we're
yeah, that's what
ranking
we're
right now.
projecting
So,
for. So yeah, I agree. I see that for sure. And so
okay.
then we'll put Cardinals at the first slot of that 21 to 25 tier. So they are 25th in our power rankings. And now things are open. We're out of
Yeah.
our predetermined like here's the bottom of the barrel teams that we know are going to be down there. Um, so now things are opened up, and there's we've got our mid 16. There's a lot of teams here. Where do you want to start?
I want to throw out a couple of names, and they may not be the most popular names, but I do think they deserve to be discussed down here at the bottom. And that is the Bengals and the Panthers and almost maybe the Bears. I don't think the Bears are that bad. I don't
No.
think they're like number 24, but I do think the Bengals are definitely way further down here than they expected to be heading into the season.
Yeah, I will say I'm gonna take the Bears out of this conversation. Um, I think we've got a good
I'm
few
just saying
more
that
to
because
go.
they just let up 30 to the Tyler Huntley led Ravens and lost that one. So
Yeah, and that does
it's a
hurt.
rough look. Yeah,
Does hurt your
but
odds there. I
thinking
can
Bengals here,
I
or
can go Bengals here. I mean,
that
they've
was
had
when we made
flashes.
the. I was gonna say when we made these like segmented sections,
Mm-hmm.
the Bengals were the team I looked at as the worst of the of that mid 16 grouping. So
Mm-hmm.
That is one that I will.
There's Bengals and Texans. I do want to throw the Texans hat in the ring for this. Um, just for the Bengals at least have like the hope on the horizon of Joe Burrow can come back, and there's that like that you're hanging on the breath of. But the Texans have been disjointed, and they've picked up wins, but at the end of the day, it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on them for the way that they've conducted themselves with the offensive line and CJ Stroud. Um,
They're coming off an 11-point win to the 49ers, who I don't really
mhm,
have down this far.
yeah,
So I think probably recency bias is helping a little bit with my like
not having them down
interpretation
here.
of how. Yeah, but I definitely think the Texans are not great, but I think there are worse teams. So um, I think maybe. Well, I actually don't even know if there are that many worse
I
teams.
know,
Can't
like they're
lie.
going to be coming up pretty quickly here in conversation. Um,
Yeah,
I will say, I think you make a valid point, and the Bengals giving up the first win to a team that we have third at the bottom there will have me put the Bengals here second, or
yeah,
24th, should say.
right.
Um, and then, do we have someone to compete with the Texans for this next little hole? Um,
I'm so sorry to Jacob, but I'll throw the Commanders in the ring. Like they're I know it's a Jaden Daniels is coming
yeah,
back kind of
it's an
situation.
injury issue as well with them. Um,
And I'll also put the Vikings up here. I thinking about it more, I think they're worse than the Bears. Just because that
yeah,
quarterback situation is so awful.
I mean, yeah, for
So
sure. I think another thing we're giving a lot of benefit to the doubt of, and this is why I lean. I'm bringing this up to give Washington that same benefit of the doubt that we're giving to this team that I'm about to say is the Baltimore Ravens. You know, they're one in
yeah,
five, and
yeah,
they've been out of their
two and
quarterback,
five.
and so I think when you put Washington in the same thing, I think they've missed Jaden for two full games, and he stepped out early on another. So I think giving those two teams some benefit of the doubt. Um, I will say I dislike the Texans more than the Vikings right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I could concede the Texans being the next team up.
Yeah, and then
Um,
do we want to go
but
Vikings right after that?
I think yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Texans at 23, Vikings at 22. I think so. The Ravens, I honestly, I'm a little higher on them rest of season because they'll be getting Lamar back,
Mm-hmm.
and once they do that, they'll be fine. And they also have yet to play the Bengals, and that's a team that they're gonna light the scoreboard up on because they're the fucking Bengals. So they're gonna play them twice, so that's two free wins. And I like as much as I think um the Ravens are not great right now. I think they're not this bad. There are still, I believe, worse teams. I would take the Ravens over the Commanders. I would take the Ravens over the
Yeah, I
Falcons
don't
right
think
now, I
the
think.
Ravens are at all in conversation for being one of our next up here. I was bringing them
Okay.
up to give them the benefit of the to give the Commanders benefit of the doubt to get the Commanders out
Okay.
of that tier. Um, right now, with where we are right now, I could see the pains me to say, but the Panthers might be down here.
I'm going to throw up a team that it hurts me to
Are
say
you
this
okay?
just
Do we
because of how
both?
much I've vocally stated that I believe in
Uh huh.
them.
Falcon lever and
I think the
Panther
Falcons are
lever
worse
over
than the
here in pain.
Panthers. Well, it's not just that, but the Panthers dropped 30 on the Falcons. They
True,
won 30
true.
to
You're so
nothing.
right.
So I'm like, how can we put the Panthers below the Falcons? So I think we put the Falcons at 21 maybe. That hurts
That
so
hurts
bad
so
to
bad,
say.
but also it's gonna hurt me so bad to say let's put the Panthers at 20. um,
Are
oh,
we doing that? Are we going Falcons then Panthers?
I think yeah. Honestly, there's
Okay.
that hurts. That hurts because you believe in the Falcons a lot. I believe in the Panthers a lot. Maybe there's some Madden bias feeding into this because
Oh my
we
god,
had
I didn't even
we had
remember. I
such a
forgot about
long
that.
franchise that we did with the Falcons for him and the Panthers for me. So I think it is kind of that feeding into this. But
Oh, for sure. But
next up,
now I'm looking at the rest of the teams and I'm like, the Bears are here and I don't believe in them. The Commanders are here and I don't really believe in
you're letting the
them.
Cowboys
And
slide. You're letting the Cowboys not
the
get
Steelers are here.
mentioned.
The Cowboys are such a potent offense, and CD just came back, so I'm giving them a little bit of
That
a
little
push
headway.
upwards. I think they are the divider between the like bottom half and top half. I would be cool putting them right at 16 if it gets to that point, and I don't see any other teams. Um, but I think the Cowboys are better than the Bears. I think the Cowboys are better than the Commanders, and I think the Cowboys are better than the. I think they're right around 49ers level, but they're a little healthier because they actually have their injured star back, where the 49ers don't have Purdy back yet.
Hmm. Yeah, now I thought entering the second tier from the bottom was the difficult one. This is the difficult one because this is when we start
Yeah.
putting teams,
And
rightfully
I
down
just
there.
want to put this out there for everybody. There's implicit bias going into
Yeah,
this. There just is. We're two guys that share
it's
a
an
lot of
opinion.
opinions
Yeah,
about the NFL. So we're gonna agree with each other's opinions a lot of the times, and that is going to influence our rankings. That is why we are doing this power rankings, similar to how ESPN has done power rankings and NFL.com has power rankings and all these different sources. So this is not a I'm probably going to title it something like this, but this is not a definitive power ranking where this is guaranteed rest of season. This is how it's going to go. But if there's anything that y'all are taking issue with, please let us know down in the comments below. If we've like, even if it's just like you think two teams should be flipped, if you think the Raiders are worse than the Dolphins, then go ahead and drop that down in the comments below, and we'll try to respond to as many as we can, and kind of explain ourselves away a little further or agree with you that we probably made a bad decision. But next up, slightly better than the Panthers. Are we feeling a Steelers? Are we feeling a Commanders? Are we feeling because the Steelers we know are going to be 8-9 or 9-8. Like we just know they're gonna drop
hey,
those
so
games.
that means
And
that they
they're
have to
gonna
be closer to 16 than they are to 20.
yeah, but rest of season and they have a winning record right now, so they need to lose more games
I
than
see.
they
I
win
see.
for the rest of season. So
Um, I think we're giving the Ravens too much benefit of the doubt. They're currently 1-5.
2-5, but
Two and
that is
five.
fair.
Yeah,
They did just
that's fair.
win.
They
They
did
did just drop
just win.
30 on the Bears.
I keep forgetting about this past the game that just
Keep
happened.
forgetting about 3 days ago.
Yeah. uh,
I'm I'll agree based off record and how they've looked so far. I'll put the Ravens here, but I think if we're doing like
okay.
right now this second power rankings, Ravens are here. I agree. If we're doing rest of season power rankings,
Ravens, of
which we've
course, have
kind
to
of
have
been
that.
referencing,
Yeah, they need to have the added
okay,
help because they are, and
yeah,
And Lamar's coming back. When you get your MVP caliber quarterback back, I'm sure things will look better. I'll put the Commanders
yeah,
here. Sorry, Jacob.
Commanders here.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out Jacob. Sorry about it, but they don't look great.
Man, there's been a slew of young quarterbacks in this. We got CJ, then we go to JJ McCarthy as the Vikings, and then you go to Penix, and then you go to Bryce, and now here we are on Jaden. Who's the next
Yeah,
young quarterback to follow?
and Joe Flacco, young buck on the Bengals over there. Yeah, I think
Might
I'm
have to
between
go.
Steelers and Ravens right now. I again I can
You've
see
moved
the
the Browns
Ravens.
up or the Bears up because the Ravens did just beat
That's
them.
another one I could see. They're so wishy-washy. I feel the same way about them as I do like the Chargers. Not quite. I feel a lot more strongly about the Chargers. I don't think they're on like the same level, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel the
Obviously,
same
with
way
where we
going into
rank
any
them.
game where I'm like they could win. They could pick this game up, but do I trust them to? Like not
Mm-hmm.
really. So, I guess I could go Bears here at this would be number 17 or no, 2019. So it would be 18.
Something doesn't feel right putting them below the Cowboys, but they did just lose.
I can yeah, yeah. What did the Cowboys do this past week? Did they win?
They lost to the Broncos, 24 to
Cowboys
44.
below Bears. Cowboys below Bears. Cowboys at 18.
All right. Cowboys at 18. Then Steelers, Bears. Where are we putting that 17? It's one of these two.
God, I hate the Steelers. I hate the Steelers so much, but that's
The
so
implicit
much personal
bias is
bias
slipping
that I
in.
can't
Yeah.
like. It's not implicit. It's very
Very much
implicit.
outward. Yeah. Um, damn it.
You know what?
Okay, we
Fuck it.
still have.
Bias.
Yeah. You let the bias run. Sorry about it. That one Steelers fan that gets mad.
Steelers.
Um,
Then Bears.
yeah.
Bears at 16. Okay.
There's that 16.
And then I think
Feels fine.
we have to put the Ravens at 15. We
We
cannot
can't let them go any
than this
higher.
at 2
No,
and
you're so
5.
right. Like they picked up a win off the. I mean, the Bengals have been picking up wins off the back of the. You know, but the defense looks horrific, and the Ravens has looked horrific and has also looked great, and it's just a wishy-washy kind of thing going on there. Now with what we got left here, I want to throw the Jags next at 14.
Yeah. I don't have any problems with that.
And, I do want to say shout out to the 49ers for doing what they've done with the amount of injuries that they have. But at the same time with that,
You think they're next up?
we can't let them get near the top 10. And
Yeah, that's fair.
with the quality of teams that I'm looking at right now, we're like when you want to name the
there's only
bottom.
5 left if
Yeah.
there's 4 left if we put the 49ers here, which I think we do. So 49ers at 13.
But are the Seahawks better
and that
than
feels
them?
high. I think they are this much better than the 49ers, where they are the next team up on this power ranking. So
49ers than Seahawks.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, especially
So
with
Seahawks,
the injury stuff, like, gotta lean into that.
Yeah. 12 for the Seahawks, and then at 11,
The first one to not make the top 10. We got a lot of good teams in front of us. I'm gonna read them out
Yeah.
for people following along. So we have both LA teams, the Chargers and the Rams, Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packers, the Colts, New England, the Lions, Eagles, Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a hard one to take one team out of.
I think because of the losses on their record, the Chargers are the one that sticks out to me.
Yeah.
They lost to the
Yeah,
Giants.
the Giants
and
lost
that's
there
just the mark.
Is what hurts them.
The Broncos are also a team where I'm like, they are number 10. They are not number 9. They are worse than the Buccaneers.
Mhm.
And to kind of, I guess that kind of spoils it. The last 2 teams outside of our top 8 that we had predetermined are the Broncos and Buccaneers. And I'm looking at those 2 and I'm like, there is one team here that is better than the other.
And they
So-
stand out amongst the rest of the crop. Like the Chargers, they've had their injury issues on that offensive line, so they have to get knocked down here. And then you run into the Broncos and the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers had fantastic quarterback play through 6 weeks. Not so much as of the past 2 weeks, but the Broncos also just don't feel like they are that caliber of team.
And now we get into our top 8 because that's Broncos at 9
10.
Broncos at 10 and Bucks at 9.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get into the top 8, and I have a bit of a bold take, I guess. Well, actually, no. I think
We'll see where the Patriots end up with where the
Oh,
Suns.
I see. I think the Patriots are probably they're in my personal top 5. They're probably in my personal top 3, just because I think they can go out there against any opponent and win. But currently, their wins are not super strong. They have a cupcake schedule, but they also have a cupcake schedule rest of season.
Mhm.
So I'm like, if we're taking that into account, the Patriots got to be pretty high because they have an easy schedule and are a good team. Like
Mhm.
we gotta kind of think about
There's
that.
a few things to take into account. It's the injuries, who's coming back for the rest of the year, how that might impact the team. There's the difficulty of their schedule coming up for the rest of the year, and then alongside both of those things, you need to also account for, how have they done up to this point against that easy schedule, and how have they done against good teams. Now, the Patriots beat the Bills. That is the major push that they get here. So to keep
Right.
them out of being number 8 and number 7 in my eyes, I
Yeah.
have to give them that
I
good
was
pick.
honestly going into it, I was expecting the Patriots to fall around number 6. That is the spot where I was expecting us to agree on them at.
Hmm.
I obviously do have them a little higher. That's personal Patriots bias, but let's get into the team we think is number 8 because we can discuss the rest of them as we go. I'm gonna throw up the Eagles as a team that I have not been super impressed with. This past week was
Hmm.
really good.
Hmm.
Um, it was another a strong rushing attack that we hadn't seen much of for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Saquon looked good again. Tank Bigsby put up 100 rushing yards. Like
Damn.
that was kind of crazy. So I guess recency would lead me to think they're a little bit better. The Colts are the team that like stick out so harshly, but they're so good. They're best record in the league.
Yeah.
Like that I can't put them at 8 because of that. And then there's the Bills. Like they've been so wishy-washy this year. They've the past few weeks have not been great from them, and then this past week they played the Panthers and it was pretty good. They did pretty well. James Cook finally got his touches and his yards, but I'm curious to see where your head's at because those are kind of I guess the Eagles, Bills. I don't like the Chiefs, so that's definitely my bias leading in there.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. It
I want to
feels
see what you're at.
like I I want to throw Green Bay into the mix, but it's just because of the inconsistency that is the Jordan Love experience. You know, he takes some risks. Um, they they do have some like handed wins, but okay, they're the past three:
Yeah,
Cincinnati, Arizona, and Pittsburgh. And where do those teams rank? Oh, they've also played Cleveland this year. Where did that team rank?
and lost to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like the Packers are the ones that stand out to me the most. Um,
Okay.
looking at who's the ones they're losing to, and what's the ones they're actually beating. You know, what's the quality of team that they are beating here.
Oh, like the Lions?
Yeah. That's what offsets the Browns thing. But as I said, they've picked up
Yeah.
teams wins over teams that are in our bottom half here.
Yeah. I think also being in a tough division, the rest of the season is not going to be super easy for them.
Yeah.
So I can see that. So Packers at number 8.
Hmm.
That's our 8th team. I'm gonna throw the same two teams up that I had at 8, Eagles and Bills, as the two that I think are the most fraud watch here. I think the Rams are extremely good and in an easy division, so the rest of season can't be that difficult for them. The Chiefs are in a tough division, and I think they also are falling in the like 5 to 8 range or 4 to 8 range rather than the top 3.
Hmm.
But again, my personal bias against the Chiefs is probably leaning into that a good bit.
I
Um,
feel like right now, what is the what's the last game? What's the schedule look like for the Bills? They beat Baltimore, obviously when Lamar was there, so that's not something to discredit them. Then they picked up 2 wins against New York and Miami. New Orleans, lost to New England, lost to Atlanta. It's going to be Bills here for me.
okay, yeah, that's the loss to Atlanta is tough because
Honestly,
we had Atlanta down
I
at
forgot
21.
about the Atlanta one. I think that puts
I
them
did
under the
too.
Packers. And
I'm here for it.
yeah,
So Bills at 8, Packers at 7.
yep.
I'm here for it.
Then we're looking at 6 here.
Say it.
I don't want to put New England here, damn it. But
I
looking at it, it's
if
I
we all right,
can't not.
okay. I'll
I
I'll
don't
put it
want to,
this
but
way.
I can't not.
If we were going to watch a game where any team that you think deserves to go here is playing against any other team that's on this list,
Hmm.
do you think they would win?
That well,
Do you think the
the
Patriots
thing
would
with
beat the Colts head to head?
the rest of the list is all of these are the top caliber, so it could go either way in any of them.
Yeah.
Um,
I am okay putting the Patriots here at 6 again. This is where I expected them to be from the
mhm.
start. And the schedule is cake. So I do expect the Patriots to win like almost all of their games remaining on the schedule. But I can also understand that maybe they drop a game here or there because they have beat the bad teams and then also squeaked one out against the Bills. Like they did squeak one out against the Bills, which is impressive, but they've also been beating up on bad teams. So I'm not going to pretend that they're like
Yeah, the
some
the
number
one
one.
like quality win that they have versus all of the easy ones shouldn't make up for the fact that they are first and foremost beating the cupcake ones. Um,
And that gets us into our top five.
yes,
We're through 10-6. Patriots number 6, Packers number 7, Bills number 8, Bucks number 9, and Broncos number 10.
I think
Now,
next.
do we take the Colts and put them at 5 here, or do we put them higher because their record is so good and they have put up wins? Like, do we believe in Daniel Jones to not regress for the rest of the season? Is I guess what I'm asking.
Let me go ahead and take a peek at their schedule for the rest of the season because of course they picked up some easy ones, notably Vegas, Arizona, Miami, Tennessee twice. Um, and those are their easy ones. They're coming up against the Chiefs pretty shortly here. Um, they're in a pretty easy division. It's not going to be like it's like that Patriots talk where it's an easy schedule that they faced really and an easy schedule they have upcoming. Um, I think honestly I got to give them props. They're facing an easy schedule, but it's hard to win in the league, and it's hard to win the way they've been winning, which is winning in point differential throughout the league, leading the way there, just kind of having bigger wins. So I feel like the Colts are safe.
Okay.
So
The Eagles
the Eagles,
historically this season scare me a little bit, like where they haven't been great. So I think they do have a little bit of that Super Bowl hangover. I think is what they're dealing with a bit here.
mm-hmm.
And I think the Chiefs are also, like I said, I would plead to keep them out of the top 3.
And I think I can agree to the Chiefs being up here shortly. The difficult thing is, and I feel like a lot of it is bias that I just have. Um, the difficult thing here is that the Eagles beat the Chiefs when they went head to head. So, despite how I feel about the Eagles, I think the Chiefs have to be at 5 here, and then
The Eagles at 4.
and then the Eagles at 4, which means that in the top 3 we would have the Rams, Colts, and Lions. And I don't know how that feels to you.
Exactly how we expected things to go entering the season. Rams, Colts, and Lions at
That's
the top
exactly
of the league.
what we had on our Super Bowl contender list. Exactly, for sure.
Yes. I did not say the Colts would lose all their games. I did not say that.
We did not have them in the not good tier. We didn't. I promise.
We didn't. That wasn't us. If you saw that was AI.
Deep faked.
I think I'm gonna throw out my top 3. I think Colts 3, Rams 2, Lions 1.
I'm revisiting the Rams schedule right now. Houston, Tennessee, lost to Philadelphia. They beat Indianapolis.
Ooh.
They lost to San Fran, divisional, in overtime. I won't mark it against them that much. Then they handedly beat Baltimore and they handedly beat Jacksonville. Coming up, they're going to have a slate against the NFC South. So New Orleans, Carolina, there are going to be some easy ones to pick up. Atlanta, we'll see where that game's at. And they've got Arizona twice still coming up. So projecting rest of the year, Rams, I think, have a pretty easy schedule.
How does the Lions schedule look to you? Are you thinking we don't put them at 1, or are you thinking
They're in a tough division. They've got Green Bay, of course, again, Philadelphia. They got the Rams, and things are always competitive in division. So it's always, they've got a lot of division games coming up too. I'll put Colts at 1. Best record. They have the
Colts
easiest schedule coming up. I'll have them at 1 throughout the rest of the season. Doesn't mean I have them as the Super Bowl winners, because when they face those tough competitions in the playoffs, that'll be its own issue. And then I'll go with Lions, then Rams. They face off
did they
against
play
each
head-to-head?
other. They do. Week 15.
Okay.
We've got a hot take list here. Let me tell you.
Yeah, we do. I would love to have the Patriots higher, but I just can't put them over the Super Bowl champion Eagles or the Super Bowl loser Chiefs. But yeah, that will do it for this segment. Way longer segment than we had planned going into this, but definitely check out the full length podcast dropping tomorrow, and we will get right back into that full length podcast right now.